welcome to the Keith Noble Show, brought to you by Auto Chicks and the Nobles Financial Network. Go look them both up on Facebook. Worth your time. So, we're going to talk today about a prospective Biden administration and economically how it's going to work. And we might presume it'll probably work a lot like the Obama administration did. The Obama administration relied heavily upon the Federal Reserve to provide enormous amounts of liquidity. About $4.5 trillion worth of liquidity that the Federal Reserve injected into the economy during the Obama years. Other central banks injected even more liquidity into the American economy. So you need to understand this first and foremost. Okay, so some of you, hopefully, have read Bastiat. You're familiar with the broken window fallacy. The broken window fallacy, to summarize it really quickly, is the guy who sells windows could go through your neighborhood breaking all the windows and sell you new windows. And that would generate economic activity, but it doesn't produce wealth. It's not adding. It's merely replacing. What the people on the Democrat side, and not a few on the Republican side, don't grasp is a difference in money and wealth. Government can create, to a point, all the money it wants, but government cannot create wealth. Wealth is the only solution to poverty. Wealth is the only thing that produces ever-increasing standards of living. Producing money does not produce wealth. We have gotten to a point in this country where it's become ever more difficult to produce wealth. And not only that, we have a bureaucracy, federal level, state level, sometimes the city and county levels, that make it extraordinarily difficult to produce wealth. They put up hurdles, they put up taxes, they put up fees, they put up regulations that makes it easy for incumbent players, the larger corporations, larger companies, to meet those hurdles, and makes it all but impossible for smaller companies, smaller corporations even, and individuals to be able to compete, to be able to enter the marketplace. If somebody says, hey, I have a great idea for a product or for a business, for a service, and the government says, okay, if you want that, here's how much you have to pay to start a business. Here's the regulatory hurdles you have to meet before we'll let you actually sell your product or build your product or deliver your service. It eliminates the small company, and it eliminates the individual from being able to compete. This is the problem with government regulations. They aren't put there for your benefit. They aren't put there for your safety. They aren't put there for the environment. They're put there to protect incumbent players. So we have this bureaucracy that's unelected, that has essentially taken onto itself the privilege of making laws, upholding what those laws are, and executing those laws, even though those belong to 3 other branches of government. But the bureaucracy has decided to take that upon itself, mostly because Congress, over the decades, has outsourced its own responsibilities to the bureaucracy, and because the courts have not stepped in to reclaim their responsibilities from the bureaucracy. And the bureaucracy primarily exists under the executive branch. So the president has all this power, even though he has no idea, generally speaking, Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Bush, what regulations are being passed and which are not. They have no idea. They've got tens of thousands, millions of these employees creating, enforcing, and arbitrating these regulations. It's the farthest thing away from a functional republic we can get, short of just going to full-on socialism. It's wrong. It's wrong because you have no say in it. It's wrong because, by and large, these bureaucrats can't be fired, no matter how incompetent they are, no matter how much damage they do, and because they are now free to pursue their own agenda, not an agenda set by the people of the United States. I mean, get that basic fact, right? This is who you're actually governed by. And we saw it in the Trump administration where bureaucrats simply refuse to do what the president directed them to do. It's like, wait a minute, we may hate Donald Trump, but he was elected. The bureaucrat was not elected by anyone. The idea that they would refuse or even fight against the directives of an elected official shows you how much power the bureaucracy has acquired. And that they're fearless. They don't care. They'll do what they want, regardless of what the American people vote for. This is one of the most significant problems we have in this country. You ever notice, if you live where I do, every election we have some kind of a measure to give more money for education. Yet, that money never goes to actual, students, right? And certainly it's not tied to any performance improvements as far as the students go. No, it ends up in the hands of bureaucrats, i.e. teachers, administrators, and it's funded, generally all these things are funded by teachers' unions. And what's best for the student is never part of the equation. It's always what's best for the teacher. Well, I'm not opposed to teachers being paid what they're worth. I'm opposed to the model where bad teachers stay and good teachers get paid what bad teachers get paid. That's a stupid model. But that's the model that we have. And the idea here is, well, the good teacher's underpaid, so let's vote more money in to pay the good teacher more and the bad teacher more. This is just ineffective. It's counterproductive. It's a scam. It's essentially a scam. So, if you want to change this country, you have to start by addressing this bureaucracy, this unelected behemoth. And sadly, something many of our Democrat friends and some of our Republican friends don't get, the whole Trump-Biden divide is really over what's the role of the bureaucracy. Should the bureaucracy be governing us? Should the bureaucracy be ruling over us? Or should it not? Should you be ruling and governing yourself? Or have at least a say in how that happens? Sadly, many people don't understand this. They don't get this. They're not setting the rules of the road. They're being set for them. And that's not how this country was set up to run or what it was intended to be. So, thank you for tuning in. Be back tomorrow. Look up the Auto Chicks and the Nobles Financial Network on Facebook. Look up my book on Amazon, Our Dogs Did Not Bark, a Politically Incorrect Dystopian Tale. And talk to you soon.